And so I'm recording this. This tech shop is going to be basically about Brightspace and how to use the import tool. So first of all, I'm going to show how to just import information from one site to another. For example, if you wanted to open up your spring course and then move data from your fall course into your spring course, that type of thing. And also near the end, we'll kind of go over, since we are transitioning fully to Brightspace, if you still need to take data from Sakai over to Brightspace, I'll show you how to do that. So let me go ahead and start by sharing my screen. And we'll get going. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. So I have this site here. It's called Rich New Test. And in order to import information to your new site, you have to go to the new site first. And then what you want to do is go to your course tools. It should be on the right. And you go to your course admin. Course admin is where all the tools are located for the instructors. The students can't go there. But as the instructors, you should have access to most of these tools listed here. For example, course offerings, where you can change the dates of your class, when it's available, and so forth. Lots of other tools that you can use from the top nav bar. You can also see listed here. And again, how we went there is we went to course tools and clicked on course admin. But the one we're going to focus on today is called import. So click on import there. So there's lots of different options, and it can be a little confusing. But really, to move from one Brightspace course to another, you want to go ahead and stick to this one here. It says copy components from another org unit. And an org unit is just another class. Let's see if we click this description here, it'll tell us exactly what an org unit is. It defines the structure of an institution. Basically, it's just another class that you teach from, like 20, 21, 30, all those different classes. That's what an org unit is. So the next step is to click here where it says search for offering. So depending on how many classes you have, you may have a lot of classes to search through, or you may have just a few. So I'm just going to search for what's called Rich Old. That's my old class, and it's listed right here. So once you find your class, you select it, and you hit Add Selected. And you just give it a minute for the name to pop up. And once it's there, you'll see it listed here. Now there's two options you can do. You can click Copy All Components, or you can choose Select Components. Copy All Components will move everything from that old course into the new course. Whether it's announcements, quizzes, assignments, anything in your content area, it'll move it all over. But if, let's say, you only want to move a few things, let's say, for example, you just want to move certain assignments or that type of thing, you would choose this Select Components option. So just so you can see what that looks like, we're going to go ahead and select components. And they ask if you are sure, and we said yes. So sounds like having an echo there somewhere. So what it's going to show us here is all these different things listed. There you go. These are all the items that are in the old course. I've already selected here, up here another tab so you can kind of see what it looks like. If we go to our old course, we click on content. We see there's different things in the different modules. There's also some assignments. At least there's one. And there's some quizzes, that type of thing. Now in our new course, there was nothing listed there, just to let you know, it was empty. So if we go back to our new course, So these are the items we're just looking at. There's 2 discussions. There's 1 assignment. If I wanted to just have my quizzes moved over, what I would do is I would hit select quizzes. If I wanted all the quizzes, I could click here and then hit continue. But let's say I just want to move one particular quiz. I would hit select individual to copy. And then when I hit continue, it's going to open up a window and let me to choose the ones I want to do. For this example, we're actually going to choose everything. So you can see what it all looks like. So once we have that selected, we hit continue. Now remember, we selected to choose which quizzes. So this particular window here lets us open that up. There's only 2 available. So if you want both of them, you can choose both. If you just want one, it's really up to you. In this case, we're going to go ahead and select them all. And then hit continue. Now earlier in the menu, if you had just chosen to select all, then this would have been a little faster. But in this case, you're making some choices, and that's okay. It doesn't take too long. This gives you the chance to modify what you've chosen. And this also gives you a chance to add a particular time period. For example, let's say this class was from a year ago. You could click to offset the dates and choose how much forward you want to go, or if you want to go backward. So let's say it was from a year ago, you could put a range of 365 days. And it'll move all the dates from the old course. When it puts it in a new course, it'll add a year to that. And this can be handy, but I do suggest going back in and confirming all of your dates and all of your assignments. You don't want to completely rely on this. You just want to make sure that they're all correct when you go back in. So this is actually not that old. I'll go ahead and do the year just to see what it says here. And we hit finish. So I've done this before with this particular course to test. But right now it's this particular import. This is copying in progress. And depending on how much data you have in your course will determine how long this takes. So, I mean, if you have a large course, it may take, a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes. You can just kind of let it do its thing, go back, get a cup of coffee, whatever you want to do. In this case, it didn't take too long. So once it's there, if you need to move something else, you can go down here to hit copy another package. If you need to review the dates, you can do that. But if you just want to kind of see what you have now, you just hit view content. And now, I should have showed you this earlier, but actually all this was empty, but now you have these modules listed. We have this assignment area that got moved over with our assignment. We have the 2 quizzes. And just like that, and very similar to Sakai, how we move things from one class to another, this is how you would do this in Brightspace. You can always go back in here, click edit. And check the dates. Check under restrictions. Just see what dates you have. Right now it's hidden because most quizzes by default are hidden. You can just uncheck those, add the different times and so forth, whatever you like. That way you don't have to copy all your questions, go back, copy your assignments, all that type of thing. You can just move them on over. And even your modules, when you go in here and you have them set up just the way you want, your week 1, week 2, and so forth, they're all listed there for you. It even has a discussion post that was put in, and that came from this area. And these are all listed here. You can go ahead and collapse them, expand them. Just like over here, you can see how many items are listed. So that's how simple it is to move things from one site to another. Now, what I want to do is show you how you can move things from Sakai into a new course. I was logged in, but I think I timed out, so I'm going to log back in. Now, this isn't quite as simple because we're moving from two completely different systems. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our history class here. And most of the classes in Sakai do have some type of lesson. We did have either like a tutor.com or an RPNL lesson built in. If you don't, then you'll have to kind of add a lesson. And basically go to your site editor and go to the tools area and just add that lesson tool. I already have it listed here, so I'm just going to hit on lessons. And as you can see, I have these three sub-modules listed, sub-weeks. But what you want to do is go to this area here where it says more tools. And we're going to hit export. Export CC. So CC stands for Common Cartridge Format. And it's a way to kind of put everything together to save, to be able to transfer to other places. So there was an old version that we used here for Moodle and Blackboard. We're going to use the new version that was for more modern LMSs like Canvas and like Brightspace. If you do want to include your question pool, this is how we moved question pools for people. You would select this as well. But in this case, I'm just going to remove the course itself and hit download. And as it was spinning here, so it's processing. Now it opens up for your computer, and I'm just going to save it somewhere on my computer. Hit save. And now I'm going to go to my site inside of Brightspace, which is up here. I already created a site. It's called Rich from Sakai. Very creative, right? So now what I want to do is go back to my course tools and course admin. And we're going to go back to that import area that we saw earlier. Right here, import. Now, once we're here, we're going to be, again, we're going to be moving from not another org unit inside of Brightspace, but from an outside source. So if we scroll down here, we find this import components section. So basically we just click here, and now this will be available to us. We've no longer selected this one. We're down here to import components. Let me click start. So now it gives us the option to find the file either by dragging it over or if we click upload here, it's going to open up that window you see typically in Windows and also Mac computers where you can move things over. So let's see here. I'm going to see if I can just find the file and drag it over. Let's see here. Just give me 1 second. Let's see here. Oh, that's not it. Okay, let's go down here and show folder. That might help me. There we go. Okay. So I found the file. I'm just going to drag it over and just put it right in there. And as you can see, you do have a size limit of 2 gig, but it is a lot larger than we had with Sakai. The files in Sakai were much smaller. I think it was only like 100 meg, that type of thing. But you can see this one's not very big just because it's a small course. But once you have it here, you can import all the components. If you click advanced options, it enables you to move only certain things. Right now, I'm just going to click import all components. And now you're going to see where it's basically going to upload. It's going to convert it to the Brightspace language to speak, what they use, and then it's going to import it. This is one method I've used to import whole classes. In the past, the professors have asked me to import their whole classes, like from 2019 or something that we had beyond the 2020 range, because all the 2020 30s and all the 2020 40s were migrated, all the ones that were published. But the ones maybe they might have some that are a little older they wanted to keep. This is one method I've used to import them. Now this will take as long as the size of your file. Again, if you wanted to go take a break, come back real fast. It just depends on how powerful your computer is, that type of thing. So if you're doing this from home, it may take a little longer depending on the length of the strength of your internet, that type of thing. But once it pops up here, it's going to let you view the content just like we had before. It's pretty much going to have the same features as we did when we transferred from another site. And that's basically how you would transfer from Sakai. This should be done in just a minute. We're going to kind of give it just a couple more seconds here. And while we're waiting, does anybody have any questions regarding importing from a site to site, or maybe from Sakai to Brightspace? Go ahead, sir.
Richard, I was wondering, so you're importing a lesson now, right? Mm-hmm. So if in my lesson I have actually links to my forums, debates, and quizzes, so quizzes and forums debates will not be imported as part of it, right? So I have to go and choose them separately and import them separately, right?
Well, I believe this will move it all together. I would definitely try it out and see if that works for you. I think it will move them. This one was moved. Let's see. This course I made was brand new, so there was nothing in it. So let's go ahead and view the content and see what's in it.
I have another question. If I don't have lessons, can I import the resources that I have on the Sakai site? Can I export them?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. You could either use this method, which actually will move everything. Let's see here. I can show you how to just move the resources if you like. Yeah, so it moved all these different assignments that I had in that course. They were not located in the lesson, but they were just located inside of the site itself. So that's one reason we kind of wanted to show this method, because it's a way of kind of putting all together, move them. It might not necessarily put them the way that you think always, but it's going to be there for you. Yeah, here's a discussion post. I created something random here. But again, this course was completely empty. So it did move the discussions, everything. Like we go back to the Sakai course here. We had all these different assignments. They were listed here, that type of thing. So if you don't have a lesson and you just want to move your resources, you definitely can do that. It can be a little harder. There's not a lot of resources here, just these three. There was a category for the different weeks and so forth. There is a method where you can kind of connect your computer to your resources page. If you go to where it says transfer files, and I did a tutorial on this in the spring. You create a connection using something called WebDAV. And if you do follow the instructions here, sometimes it works to connect, sometimes it just won't connect. I was able to do it yesterday for a particular program. And basically it just creates where you can kind of drag and drop and move things over, and it can be very handy. But if it doesn't work, you might have to just go in and basically kind of download things. It also does give you the option though, if you go under actions here, and you go to compress to zip archive, this is another option. If you click on that, what it does, because the site's so small, it's already finished. It basically downloaded and zipped everything into this one file. So you just click on it and then download it to your computer, and then you can upload it like we did with the other file into Brightspace. Or you just have that file available. Let's see if I open it up, what it turns out to be. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll just save it here. Let's see here. Type. Let's see here. Here it is. Yeah, so when I downloaded it, this is what I end up seeing. When I did that zip file, so I ended up saving all the links, the PowerPoints, if there was images in this folder. So that is one way of doing it. So that can be very handy. However, if your site's very large, sometimes it'll just time out because there's just too much data to transfer. If you could do it in sections, that type of thing.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I know all my quizzes have transferred over, but
Okay.
does the final test come over if we've done that in the past? Like done something to transfer stuff?
Well, the quizzes, the final tests, that's part of the same area. So I would think it transferred over.
Okay, I didn't even really look at it till today and it looked like it was empty, but it maybe wasn't. But I also think it was wide open for the students. So I clicked hide from users. Right, so that in case the questions are out there, they won't see them.
Okay.
For now, is that right?
Well, the old sites, there's no students in them. The old sites that were transferred like 2020, 30, 2020, 40, the student data does not transfer and there's no class list. So we had to have someone go in and then find whoever taught that class to then add the professor. So if you find your old classes, you should be the only person in them, that type of thing.
Yeah, I guess I'm playing around with looking at the final. I can't even tell if the questions are there. I need to look at it a little more closely, but I got like a month or 6 weeks before I have to worry about that.
Sounds good.
Richard, I was wondering, let's say if I'm transferring an assignment, if I have a final essay, so will it transfer only the essay assignment or will it also transfer papers which were submitted by the students? Because in some cases we may need them for example, departmental self-evaluation purposes. Like I may need the data from the last year, for example, next spring. So will it also copy student papers submitted or do I have to download them and save them separately?
Well, we are working on with APIS, since we are getting closer to our time with them to being over, because they moved to Brightspace a while back and they're no longer going to be hosting us. They're working a way to kind of basically give us all our data and for an interface so we can go in and find student data and so forth. But to transfer a class like from one to the other, the student data does not transfer. So like, yes, if they submitted something, that information is not transferred. So if it is something that you think might be necessary, I would probably go ahead and you might just have to download those manually.
Download and save it separately. Yeah. Understood.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we're working with APIS to try to get where they can dump all the data, but it is a large amount of data. It's 10 years worth at least. But the courses themselves, we just couldn't move all that information. And a lot of it's not even relevant. I mean, a lot of professors they redo their information every class or every year, and some of it gets transferred, but I mean, new things happen, new things are taught. But
yeah, I mean, it's sometimes for departmental self-evaluation purposes. For example, if you evaluate the a particular class, let's say paper assignments, essays in a particular class, and you want to have a sort of backup copy. I mean, in case in the future, I mean, someone wants to see it, the originals, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so it's not something that you really need. I mean, but some people may need it. If they are tasked with departmental self-evaluation, so they may need to have an archive.
Or you have a student that comes back after 2 years and says, I should have passed this or that, or so some people have been concerned about that with their data. That's why we're trying to get it so we can have access to it, all of it in the past. So
understood. Thank you.
No problem. So that's basically how to move info back and forth in a nutshell. If you have any other questions, I'll be happy to take them. But if not, that's kind of all for today. And we are recording this, so your colleagues, if they weren't able to see how things are done, they can always Check out the CTL YouTube channel. It's going to be posted there. And I just want to thank you all for coming.
You know, you're probably going to hear from all of us again.
That's okay. No
Thank
worries.
you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. Take care.